Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Famous quote, I guess, popularized by Jay-Z. I don't know if he came up with it on his own. But yeah, that has been, something that it just sounded good in that album and it sounds good even now. But unfortunately, in the real world, men lie, women lie, numbers do. Because you can absolutely lie with data and statistics. If you've ever done a course on statistics or if you've ever seen the way that data has often been used to tell lies before in history, you will know that the reliability of the information that data conveys to you depends entirely on how it was sourced. And you see, a lot of people are justifying this move away from physical games, saying quotes like 85% of gamers buy their games digitally anyway. Yes, you're absolutely right. That data is accurate, but it can still tell many lies. And let me tell you how. The very first thing is that it does not capture at all the secondhand market. You see, if you buy a game secondhand on the PlayStation platform, it has by its very nature has to be physical, and it is completely ignored by that data. There could be a person out there who buys 20 games a year and buys them all from like the secondhand bin, at GameStop or whatever, or the used games at the GameStop or EB Games or whatever, and they are completely not captured, by that data because why would they be, right? Um, or there could be people that buy from like a Facebook marketplace or an eBay. And again, they are not captured at all by this data. The other one is when it comes to gift giving. You cannot gift a game through the digital platform of the PlayStation Store the way that you can on Steam. So if you are gifting a game, by its definition, that also has to be through physical media. Unless you're going to go through the trouble of like sending someone a gift card, then blah blah blah, it gets long and it gets tailwinded and blah blah blah. You know, Another one that a way that the data lies is that it can provide incentives to buy digital games and then use those incentives to skew the data. For example, there are games that are owned both physically and digitally because sometimes it is nice to have the digital convenience. It is nice to be able to have a PlayStation or a secondary console on another location. Could be like your girlfriend's house, your partner's house, could be like your parents' house, or just wherever, like a holiday home if you're fortunate enough to have one, and have the convenience of having everything tied to your account rather than a physical disk so that you know that when you travel, back and forth, everything is synchronized and everything like that. That is a choice, by the way, and I just want to take a moment to make this point. We are not supposed to be one versus the other. It's not supposed to be physical or digital. It's physical and digital. I have books. I love reading. Absolutely do. And I have books that I own physically and digitally. There are times, especially when I'm traveling, I don't want to travel with a physical book because it just takes up space in the suitcase and it's a lot of weight. It's wasted. So I use my Kindle. Absolutely love my Kindle. Right? And then there are, I like the physical tangibility of a book, like a physical book. And so I have the freedom to choose, right? Other mediums always, not necessarily always, but other mediums do offer this option, and it's accessible. It's not because most people are going to do it most of the time, but it's because the option, the choice matters, right? Because it just does. Okay. Another one is the incentive of like the game share play partner. So a lot of people on the PlayStation front, right? They will choose to buy games digitally primarily because they can justify having the cost with another game share play partner because that's basically the way that they choose to save their money, right? So basically when they buy a game at $70, it's actually $35 for them because it can split the cost. First of all, you should know as a there's a digital only gamer, they're going to take this away from you. They are 100%. They're probably going to come after this next, because they are aware of what you guys are doing, and they're just that like I said in my last video, they're separating us. So the first are going to get rid of the physical game lovers, they're going to get rid of our voices, and then eventually they're going to get rid of the game share play lovers, and you'll be surprised at how many people don't support you and attack you when you care about that issue. So they're going to get rid of you. Then, by the way, they're going to make the digital ownership, eventually they will make it either subscription based or streaming only or both. Because eventually they won't want to make a physical console for you anymore. It will be download, use our servers in the cloud, our AI data farms. After that thing fails, they'll be like, well, we're not making you a physical PlayStation that can play things natively anymore. Nope, connect to our servers so that we can repurpose them for something. And then that's the only way that you get access to your library going forward. and you have, again, no recourse, right? So, again, I need you guys to be more selfish. I saw a post by somebody that said that people that say, "Oh, I'm digital only, I haven't bought a disc in 17 years," or blah blah blah, right? That they are being selfish for not supporting us. And I'm like, no, you're wrong. They're being deluded, not selfish. Because the selfish thing will be for the digital only gamer that knows that they will never go back to physical, to still support physical anyway, right? Because they know that that benefits them and it gives them more consumer protection, even as a digital only gamer. That's the selfish thing to do, right? For example, it will be selfish of me to stand with the people that refuse to close a park or a museum or a library, even if I know that I personally won't use them, but because I know that the neighborhood, right, the city is better off, you know, by just having this thing there. Because again, that's the selfish thing to do. It's better for me. It's selfish of me to want that thing to be there, even if I know that I won't actually make use of it. But I do know that I benefit from it tangentially, you know? So that's it. The other thing is that, for example, another way that this data can be skewed is if you've ever had PlayStation Plus, especially PlayStation Plus Essential, where you get the monthly games, then you will see that that particular system treats it as a purchase. It treats it as a $0.00 purchase that you make for your account, okay? Even though you have to be subscribed to their subscription service in order to have to keep access to it. But when you do something like that, I have to ask myself, does the 85% that Sony do they include these games in there? Because if they do, and you would say like, yeah, of course they would. You know, it's not necessarily a bad thing for them to do so, but it does again skew the data to tell a particular picture when it affects things, you know? So again, the number can absolutely lie. But I think that Sony will be blindsided by the amount of negative fallout that will come from this. I think the damage to the brand is going to far eclipse their projections and is going to make their PS3 day, the Concord debacle, and every other past, bad PR hit is going to make them look like great days to be around. I think so. I think this moment is doing so much brand damage. PlayStation is the laughing stock of the industry right now. PlayStation is the laughing stock of the industry. That is insane. They took one of the strongest consumer brands and they made people like KFC and Domino's Pizzas create these satirical posts saying that, oh, we're going to stop physical production of our pizzas and chickens, and you can just download a digital PNG and you can just imagine yourself eating. That is what's happening now. People are mocking them. The amount of brand damage that this has done to the PlayStation brand already is incalculable. To the point where even if they were to reverse this decision, it will be it will still be a catastrophe. I think they will still be like, holy shit, we did not expect this to go this bad. I saw somebody that said that they have a little bit of inside information saying that Sony projected that there will be a lot of backlash but little economic impact, predicting that only 2 or 3% of the actual financial revenue will be affected by this decision. And when they weigh that up against the digital dystopia that they can bring about and how they can squeeze people in the future because they have a digital only future, they figured that that was a cost worth paying. But I think that their projections are completely off. I think that they're going to be extremely surprised at how vicious the backlash for this is going to be and how much damage it is going to do in both the short and the long term. Because I don't think that people are going to stand by and let this happen. Listen, we live in a world where vinyl still exists, and I want vinyl presses to exist. I have never played a vinyl piece in my life ever. I don't even know if I would put it the actual needle on the disc on the vinyl disc right. But I still want vinyl to exist. I will still be pissed off if a major let's say music producer or music producing house didn't do vinyl. Oh yeah, that will still be something where I'm like, hey, at the very least, if I don't participate, in advocating for vinyl, at least I will not stand by and try to mock the people that are. Because that's the thing, like I said in my last video, even if you yourself do not want to stand on the right side of history, at least don't stand in the way of those that do. So that's just my quick thing. Listen, digital only gamer. If you want to be selfish, stand with us because it will prevent you from experiencing the horrors of things like dynamic pricing in the future. It will prevent you from experiencing the lack of sales and higher and higher games. It will prevent you from experiencing so many consumer rights abuses, like being able to kick you off of your library or your account, not just for things that you say while on PlayStation, but for things that you say even when you're not on PlayStation. Like things you say on YouTube, but they know what your username is, so they can go and try to punish you if you try to like speak up against PlayStation or something like that. Again, the consumer protection laws that we have on the digital front are completely inadequate. I mean, the ones that we have for physical items is also inadequate now, but they're antiquated. But these ones, they are non-existent whatsoever. So again, if you want to truly be selfish, do what is in your best self-interest. Advocate for physical media because it will make things better for you. Okay, that was a quicker one. We're going to go with that. I hope to talk to you guys next time. There'll be lots and lots of videos about this particular issue because I'm passionate about it and I hope that you are too. But I don't know. In the meantime, have a great time.